You are now entering Nyghtstorm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Tell the people.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Nyghtstorm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere.
Afraid to be transparent is to help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen, my stunningly, hurtfully pretty, gorgeous wife. Ooh-wee!
I just love it when you eat breakfast in the morning. Good morning, everyone. In Atlanta and everywhere, this is Toby George Nyghtstorm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth about things as they really are. And this is Nyghtstorm Radio, radio gone real because we are you.
Now, Nyghtstorm Nation, if you're in the ATL, feel free to call in at 443-558-699. And to all the Nyghtstorm Nation members around the country, call in at 1-866-923-2860. You can also find out more about us, the Nyghtstorms, at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. And you can also listen to our show from the talk radio page of Nyghtstorm.com by going to that talk radio page, hitting the listen live button, and it'll connect you right to love860.com, and you hear us live right here on Love 868. Baby.
That is right. And all you smartphone owners out there, go to your app store, download iHeartRadio, Tunein Radio, iRadionow. Go to the talk radio section, look for WAEC Love 860, and take us anywhere you go, anywhere in the world. We're right there with you. And if you would like to see our lovely faces this beautiful sunny Thursday morning, go to love860.com, click on Watch Live, and you are in Nyghtstorm TV. Hello, we're here.
Hey,
I'm
guys.
waving. How are you today? Did you have a good breakfast as apparently YG had this morning? He's so pimpy. Gotta get that oat bran in. Yeah.
Man, my muscles are popping out my shirt from that breakfast you cooked for me this morning, baby.
Hey, gotta get you going.
Okay, all right, now, baby.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the world, man. So, what's on top for the day, sweetie?
Well, there is an array of topics, honestly, we could have chose from today. But we are going to be talking about tragedy and when it strikes relentlessly in our lives and how to stand up and fight back regardless of what we're fighting and what's facing us.
Exactly. Also, one quick note. If a lot of our folks like to email us their questions because they don't want to talk about this stuff on the radio, so y'all can go to the Nyghtstorms, that's Nyghtstorm with an S, at Nyghtstorm.com, and email us your questions and your comments, and we'll be more than happy to read them online if it is according to the topic. But moving into our first section, we always start off the show with a section called How Can I Change?
I think you meant on air.
On air. My bad, baby.
I'm like, what?
My bad, baby. Y'all see, this that 90-10 rule again, where you're right 90% of the time, and I'm right only 10% of the time.
Your mind is on two different things. But keep going, darling.
Yes, my queen. Thank you. Now, we start off the show with How Can I Change My Mate, where a couple sends us two letters, one from each party describing a major gripe they have about their mate and why their significant other needs to change. So, can we go into this? This is a deep letter from a white husband and a wife. Can we get into this, my queen?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is from the wife. She says, my husband and I agreed to write these letters under the condition that we would listen to your advice, seek further counseling.
That's going to be key with this letter.
Yeah, and seek further counseling and maybe try to work out our differences. I have left our home because I am afraid of him. I love my husband more than anything in the world, but I made a terrible mistake.
Okay.
I cheated on him, and I am fully admitting that it was wrong and very irresponsible of me. I felt that we grew apart, and I started developing feelings for my coworker after telling him that my marriage was in trouble. See, here we go. Okay. My infidelity is not the worst part of all of this. I contracted an STD and passed it on to my husband. He is understandably angry, but I feel that he should at least try to understand why I cheated on him. This other man was giving me things that my husband just couldn't supply, and he paid more attention to me intimately. I'm afraid to go home because I do not want to end up shot to death like Stephanie Mosley in a fit of one of his rages. He needs to calm down, talk sensibly to me, and understand that I have needs and be willing to give me what I want.
Well, you know, there's two sides to every story.
Yes.
And I have the husband's point of view.
Uh-huh.
And it goes, Dear Nyghtstorms, my wife is full of crap.
Uh-oh.
There's nothing to talk about or discuss. She cheated on me and infected me with a terrible disease. She has no excuse for her actions because my life has been all about her since the day we got married 5 years ago. I worked 2 jobs to buy her everything she wants. I cut all my friends loose to spend more time with her. I sold my convertible in order to buy her a luxury car, and I still got cheated on. And he puts this in all capital letters.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not perfect, but I was really trying. I must admit, I have had a very bad temper as of late, and it's all because of her. I love her, but I don't know if I can ever forgive her. Outside of this STD, it's a possibility that she may be pregnant.
Oh, my God.
And I fear that the baby is not mine.
Oh.
She has every right to think that I'm going to hurt her, but I won't.
Oh.
I'm just so sick of trying so hard only to have her and life kick me in the face. I'm done.
Wow. Okay. Now, we got a special producer in the show today. It's the Sky. Jared is taking the day off. Hey, Sky. Pull the microphone up, Sky.
See, now Jared ran out at the right time. He hates to be put on the hot seat and stuff like that.
Oh, man, Sky, what do you think about what's going on with this couple now? Okay, now, we're going to be objectionable here because we're trying to help them, okay? But the wife cheated on the husband. It's clear. She's taking responsibility, saying, yeah, it was wrong. But, he needed to pay more attention to me. Now, my first thing is, her first mistake was to tell her coworker that she's having problems in her marriage.
Right.
Okay. And so now they gave him an opening to get in. But then she not only caught an STD from this guy and gave it to her husband, now it's a possibility she's pregnant. And she's like, he need to just pay attention to me and give me what I want. So what do you think about this?
I didn't know my family from Panama City had written letters. That goes on all the time down there.
Wow, man.
That's crazy. She needs to be understanding of the fact that she's made a lot of poor choices in this. And of course, we all know that we don't get everything we want from our other significant person in any relationship. But you still have to understand at the end of the day, you said I do to the day you die.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for chiming in. Okay, my queen.
Wow. And you know what, Sky, you're so dead on with all my thoughts. I probably have to sit here and be quiet now because he said what I wanted to say. You took my words. I should have went first.
Well, come from the aspect of the husband baby.
No. Well, the first thing that I wanted to point out that all of this stuff, even though she admitted that she cheated, the other stuff that the husband brought to light, she didn't even mention. She mentioned nothing about the fact that she could be pregnant.
No, she didn't say that.
She did mention the fact that, she gave him a disease. Let me go back. Yeah, that she contracted the disease, but the pregnant part wasn't even a part of it.
No, she didn't say nothing. She didn't say that.
That's why it's always good to get both sides. Because somebody leaving out stuff.
Yeah.
Now, let me think. If I was in his situation, in his shoes as a man, and I cut off my friends to spend time. I sold my convertible, which I have a husband that's his favorite pastime. He'll go, I'm going to go for a drive in a minute. Go, and especially on a pretty day like today, drop that top, let the sun shine on his face, and just be in total bliss and have his time to just have some me time.
He sold his convertible.
He sacrificed his convertible so that she can have a luxury car. And then, to do all of this stuff. Working two jobs.
To buy everything she wants.
And so if if I'm working 2 jobs because I have a spouse that likes nice things, and I know that they really like this car, so I'm going to sell mine so I have enough money to get them this car. And all my homeboys that I used to hang out with won't really talk no more because I want to spend time with my lady. And then I'm all about her day and night, from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. And then my trust is betrayed. I think I'd be very upset also.
Yeah.
I would be hurt. I would be disappointed. I would be, like I said, feeling betrayed. And I would be done like he is. Wouldn't want to have anything to do. And the first emotional reaction as a human being is going to be anger.
Yeah.
So I totally get where the husband is coming from here. And the one thing I do want to point out that he says, yes, she has a reason to feel I might hurt her, but I won't.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that he said that. I'm not going to. But
yeah. Yeah, and I want to say this also. And I understand where she's going when she's referencing Stephanie Mosley, because unfortunately Stephanie Mosley and her husband passed away earlier this week in a murder-suicide. This is serious. And apparently the reason why her husband shot her to death is because of infidelity, some past mistakes, and it's sources saying that she was a habitual cheater.
A habitual cheater, yes.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this, and all our prayers are about both of their families and everybody that's affected with this, but it's a lesson of saying that you can't play with somebody's emotions. Okay, let's be sensible here, because yes, he got upset, and like you said, anybody with blood running through their veins, if they are going through that many sacrifices, and you make vows, and this harkens back to what Scott was saying, you make vows to somebody. Okay, you get before God and you say, look, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life, and you're going to be with me for the rest of my life. Forsaking all others, and we are going to stand with each other. We are going to empower each other. And the thing that she did here, just going back to her letter, because I'm going to get to his letter in a second, but she said, she was telling her business, like I said, at her job to a male coworker about her marriage problems.
Which is probably, women, we're not stupid. We already know that so-and-so likes us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And she's telling to someone that she probably already knew, had a thing for.
Yeah.
He probably has done little stuff, trying to still be respectful of the fact that she's married, but sure
she gave him that opening.
Right. You pick up on these things.
Yeah.
And then to sit and confide, and then when you ain't got to deal with this, you ain't got to deal with that, blase, blase, blah.
And the thing is, sweetheart, the thing that she has to deal with is that her husband is working 2 jobs for her. The thing she has to deal with is that her husband is buying her everything she wants. The thing she has to deal with is that her husband has cut off all his friends for her benefit. The thing she has to deal with is that the fact her husband sold his drop top so she can have a luxury car. These are the things that she is just suffering through. Okay.
But you know what? There's an entitlement issue, it sounds like to me. Well, that's what he's supposed to do for me.
Okay, but what's she doing for him? She ain't said not one time.
The sacrifices. And he didn't mention anything in his letter either about
that she's sacrificing for him. He didn't say anything about what she's doing for him.
That takes us back to reciprocity.
Yeah, the only thing she gave him was an STD and some drama. Okay? I'm sorry. God. Let's just be real here. Okay? And it's back to her letter. She said, and the guy on the side was supplying things that her husband could not supply her with. Yeah.
Because he has the time, because he's not working for your benefit.
But I want to get to this. I'm going to tell you what he gave her. Okay? She's talking about, he giving me this intimacy. Yeah, he gave you an STD. And he possibly gave you a child. Okay? Which done created drama in the relationship that you're in with a man who has virtually sacrificed everything for you. And I guarantee you this, because a lot of side people, not just side chicks or not just side dudes, a lot of side people are only in the game just for their own amusement. And when the game gets too serious, they don't want to play no more. When it gets deep, they don't want you no more. When you talk about, now I'm pregnant, I bet this dude be like, see ya.
That ain't my kid.
That ain't my kid. And by the way, I don't know where you got that STD from. It wasn't from me. Whatever. Okay, so, ma'am, I'm going to say this. And I'm not trying to be harsh on you. But your husband got every single right to be upset.
What she said in her letter, understandably so.
Oh, but it's what she said at the end. She said he needs to calm down, talk sensibly to me, and understand that I have needs and be willing to give me what I want. Mm-hmm. Now, from what we are reading, he has given her everything that he has, but it's still not good enough for her. And then she's it's a stark contrast of the letters. He is like, I'm giving, I'm giving, mm-hmm. I'm giving. Mm-hmm. Her letter is, I need and I want. There is no giving here. Mm-hmm. So, ma'am, thank God you're not ending up like Stephanie Mosley. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is a terrible, terrible, terrible situation. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you're accepting responsibility, then you need to accept all of the responsibility, because it seems like you still got some me issues going on, mm-hmm. and because you're doing what you want in the marriage, it's destroying your marriage. It has to be what you both need and what you both want, and it has to be some reciprocity. I give you the last word, baby.
My last word is I'm agreeing with you. Okay. And I wrote a blog. I wrote a series on this blog called King Building. Mm-hmm. And in my blog, which I hadn't, with all the stuff that's going on, I apologize to those who are reading and still waiting on the final one. I'm going to get to that ASAP. But I'll just give you the heads up. In this blog, I censored the entire thing around Destiny's Child, Let Me Cater to You. And I broke down each thing that we as wives should be doing to help our men feel like men, so you don't have to worry about these things that they are going out in the streets for. And the key thing that's in this song that I don't think a lot of people was getting is the word I wanna.
Yeah. Everything
in that song, I want to do this for you. I want to cater to you. This isn't something I'm just doing so you'll shut up. Mm-hmm. And, give him something to eat so he can get out my nerve, and I can go and watch whatever I want to do, whatever I want to do. Right. The whole thing about this song is something that I'm willing to do because I care enough about your needs and what you want in order to get it done. Mm-hmm. So right there, when I think the biggest problem started coming from, and he's probably guilty of this too, enabling.
Yeah.
And making it, you make it all about me also.
Yes, I do.
But in order to appreciate, I want you to see that I see you and what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing for me and the sacrifices you make.
Right.
So what can I do for you?
That's right.
How can I, if it's something as simple as, oh my God, baby, I walked this 5K walk with you and I didn't have to do it because this was a woman thing. I could have just let you do it on your own. When we got home that evening, you best believe, yes, I was taking off his shoes. Baby, I know your feet hurt.
Yeah.
How can I help you out? So when you take it and you pull it off of yourself to see what's going on with your spouse, that'll make things better for you. And as far as the husband go in his letter, everything that he is saying is valid. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like we just need to have a nice, calm talk with an attorney, mm-hmm. and have a nice, calm discussion on how we're dividing our property, and move on, because life is too short.
Life is too short for drama. And I love the fact how my queen validates me and I validate her, because we see we see each other and what we do. So you can't change your spouse. No. Your spouse has to be willing to change for themselves, for the betterment of the marriage. And both people have to equally participate in order to make it work. And it can't just be one side giving everything and one side taking. That will always lead to destructive behaviors, mm-hmm. and to a divorce attorney. And the only one that wins is a divorce attorney, because that's the only one that get rich.
They love relationships like this.
All right. Now, we're about to go on a break. Mm-hmm. Nightstorm Nation, and you are listening to Nightstorm Radio right here on Love 860 AM. And on the other side of the break, we talking to a gentleman who done gone through some hell and back, mm-hmm. but alive to talk about it and how to empower your life right here on Nightstorm Radio, Love 860 AM, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable? Folks done hurt you and thrown you away. Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by YG Nyghtstorm called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged because if this dude can make it, so can I, and so can you. So check it out at Nyghtstorm.com, NYGHTSTORM, and know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity, like him, like me, like you. To all event planners, are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring?
Then invite the Nyghtstorms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Nyghtstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Nyghtstorm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at Nyghtstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nyghtstorm Radio and become part of the Nyghtstorm Nation mailing list at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. Nyghtstorm Radio. We are you.
Welcome back to Nyghtstorm Radio. Our topic today is when tragedy strikes relentlessly in our lives and how to stand up and fight back regardless of what we're facing. Mm-hmm. And if you want to get in on this conversation.
Yeah, man.
As you can tell from the way the show started.
Yeah, man.
We're going to have some deep conversations going on in this hour. 404-355-8699 in Atlanta. And 1-866-923-2860 anywhere else. Let me say it again. 404-355-8699 in Atlanta and 866-923-2860 anywhere else.
Yeah, and a lot of folks just sending in, they emailing, because I'm up here looking at it right now. They're emailing at the Nyghtstorms at Nyghtstorm.com, and man, it's on fire because that letter was sizzling. Still smoking. But,
and on Twitter.
Yeah, and on Twitter.
Twitter is rolling too.
Okay, now, you know something, we deal with stuff like this all the time. And we're talking about dealing with adversity. And when adversity just is relentless and it's just kicking you in the face, like the gentleman was saying in his letter. But it's always refreshing when we deal with stuff and we're able to help people traverse through the garbage. But it's so cool when we have other people that we can invite on who done went through the same batch of Hades as us and then came on out and willing to tell their story about it. So in my famous British accent, yes, hi, sweetheart. Our guest is here, and you just love it, and we are going to introduce him right now. So, Sky, if you can roll that introducing music. Ha, 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 ha! Yeah! Nyghtstorm Nation, our distinguished guest is here. Take it away, my queen. Woo!
This incredible gentleman of distinction was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, raised in San Juan, Puerto Rico during turbulent times as his father escaped into exile during Papa Doc's revolution, and his mother escaped 3 months later with all 6 kids in tow to San Juan on way to Buenos Aires, where asylum was granted.
Being no stranger to facing life and death situations, this architectural genius got his degree from Tunein University and proceeded to travel the world creating beautiful structures and even helped to shape the majestic landscape of Dubai. So, ladies and gentlemen of Nyghtstorm Nation, please welcome the incredible, world famous Mr. Behr Champana. Yeah!
Good morning.
Good morning, Behr. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Very happy to be with you guys this morning.
Thank you. We enjoy the fact that you said yes, you want to come talk to us.
Absolutely. Anywhere I can help.
All right, good. So how you feeling, my brother?
Feeling great. It's very cold, but just finished up a big deadline, so I think I'm gonna coast right through the holidays.
Okay, all right. Now you've been listening to a little bit of the show, and it's folks dealing with stuff all over the place. But I want to get started with your story, sir. So you grew up during the time of Francois Duvalier, or AKA Papa Doc, and it was during a failed military coup that ripped the country apart. And Nyghtstorm Nation, I'm going to say this, an estimated 30,000 Haitians. 30,000 Haitians were murdered. And others, like your dad, sir, were exiled and barely escaped with their lives. So as turbulent of times as that was, sir, what do you remember from your childhood? And how did all of this stuff forge you and make you into the person you are today, sir?
Well, it's quite interesting. I was about a year old when all this was going on.
Mm-hmm.
My father had been educated in the States, in New York, and had 2 degrees, and he had a very good business. And turns out that there was an invasion, and they thought that he had been involved, and he had to go into hiding. He was able to escape through the help of some friends that he had to Puerto Rico. But he left behind the family, which was my mom and us 3 kids. And eventually, my mom went into hiding, and they tipped where she was, and they went and burned down the house. But we had already left, and they waited. What saved the family is the fact that they were waiting for the house to burn down and collapse on us. And my mother had made it to the airport and was able to escape with all 6 in tow to Puerto Rico to meet my dad. So, the beginning of our family life was quite turbulent, to be honest with you, but I don't remember much of that because I was only 1 year old, and I was in Puerto Rico at the time growing up, and nothing was talked about for decades on this incident.
Wow. Okay, because let me ask you this. So I know you don't remember, but I can just imagine how when your father was he was in hiding, and you and your siblings and your mom was in hiding, and the traumatic issues that was going on in that particular region. And then I can imagine you as a young child, even though folks didn't really talk about it, but it was still prevalent in your family circle. Okay, so did any of this, like any of your siblings talk about it some a little bit, or were your parents like, look, you have no idea what we've come from. You have no idea how blessed and lucky you are to make it through this stuff that you don't even remember. You need to get after your future. Was there any kind of talk like that, sir?
Well, let me tell you, growing up, we always were curious about it. And we asked questions, but my parents must have made a pact of sorts. You have to remember that my father, when he was waiting for us, he thought that we were going to get killed, my mother and all 6 kids. Mm. So he went through hell waiting, and because there was no communications, there was no emails, there was no mobile phones. You really had to be on an actual phone to be able to call, and somebody had to be waiting for the call. So for 3 months, he didn't know anything about us. So it turns out that they never spoke about it. I think it was so traumatic for them that they didn't want to bring that up as we were growing up. And my older sister never said anything. She must have been about 10 at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was like they blocked everything out, which was very interesting to me up until my father turned 80 years old. That's when he started talking. That's when he started basically communicating. And he lived till 94. And so I got the whole lowdown, the whole story on this. And the guy that helped save him actually died in July of this year. And I went to his funeral in Haiti, actually.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, Behr, most people, they'll never be able to travel around the world. As someone that's done this for the last 30 years and experienced life with different cultures, can you explain the stark contrast between the basic living needs of people in third world countries as compared to us right here in the United States?
Yeah, like right here in the States, man.
Wow.
That's different over there.
That's a good question, but let me tell you, when I saw so much poverty and misery in places like India, Mexico, Brazil, Africa, even in Haiti, and yet there was this spark of hope in the people's eyes. I really realized at that point in time that life was not about me or my own priorities as a person. I learned that in order, in a way, for me to live a good life, be a good person, I couldn't turn my back into the misery of others. I learned about compassion. I learned about empathy. I learned about gratitude for all the good, God had given me or taken away. Because in pain and sorrow, we also grow,
Yeah.
You were just talking about that. I also learned about the power of faith, hope, and how love kept these people alive. I mean, they had nothing. I mean, we're talking like extremely poor people. In the West, without fully understanding and appreciating our blessings, and the grass is not always greener on the other side. This is what I learned.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure we're clear here about especially the stark contrast. So let's just say you got the hood here in the United States, okay?
Right.
And, and they would say, according to how middle class and the wealthy live, okay, people who live in poor neighborhoods are generally poor. But one thing, if you really research it, even the poorest people in the United States, being compared to folks in the third world, the poor folks are considered rich, okay? They're considered rich because the life and the standards of living is so completely different and better here, even in the deepest, darkest, most poorest place in our country, that is considered very well off compared to third world countries. Would you agree with me there, sir?
Absolutely, absolutely. Here in the States, the poor people have cell phones. They have like TV. Over there, nobody does. I mean, these people live literally on the streets, and and what's amazing? Even as poor as they are, all of them have all these kids. All the women walk around pregnant, and they have with charcoal. They cook on the side of the road, and they bathe in rivers that are full of feces and are absolutely very unhealthy for them. You have no idea if you've been to India. In some of these places, what it's really all about.
Yeah, and just being realistic, as somebody who was homeless 23 years ago myself on the streets of Atlanta, I would not compare my plight, and it was a bad plight. I was homeless. It just was what it was. I was sleeping on the streets. But at least my plight was different and better than folks who are homeless over there. And I want to talk to you about something else because you have a fascinating life, sir. And when you talk about focusing on helping other people and getting the attention off of yourself, something significant happened to you in 2007. And I mean, you travel around the world and you're working hard, you're enjoying life, and you're changing lives, but something significant happened to put your life into the perspective that you have. And sir, I would like for you to enlighten the Nyghtstorm Nation about this incredible bout that you were faced with very little chance of survival. So can you go into that, sir?
Well, yeah, as an architect, I traveled quite a bit, through the world, and I was working a lot in Dubai, in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and I was at the time in Kazakhstan. But the problem before then is that as of 2003 on, I had been traveling and working over 2,000 hours of overtime as an average, which is absolutely insane because a work year has 2,000 hours, 2080. So I was basically working, around the clock just to try to, grow the company. I was working for one of the top companies here in Atlanta, and actually in the States at the time, and doing extremely well. I was the world VP for them. But, I was just basically killing myself. And on a trip to Kazakhstan, I didn't realize how down my immune system was. I got an incredible food poisoning that really opened up a whole Pandora's box in terms of my health, and ended up in the hospital in Dubai. They couldn't find what I had. They said my blood was not doing well, that there were some funny things growing in my blood, and I took a plane back to Atlanta. And I found out that I had stage 4 cancer, and I had never had the signs. I never had any clues. I never had any symptoms, to be honest with you. And it was really quite a shock at that time when the doctor told me. And that I by the way, only had a 12% chance of surviving.
Wow.
12.
Okay, yeah.
12%. So you were working 2,000 hours overtime, which is unimaginable. Just in my mind, just to put that number down, 2,000 hours overtime. You're traveling, you're going here and there, back and forth from the States to Dubai, doing your work. All you know is you just got to get this work done, and everything is going the way that you want it to go. No signs or symptoms of anything wrong with you, except you are feeling tired, and then you find out you have stage 4 cancer.
Stage 4, not stage 1, but stage
advanced.
4 with 12% chance of survival. And I'm thinking, we've gone through some things, okay, in our life, and we've gone through some traumatic issues in our lives, and lots of people do. But those folks are outside people, okay, and we can move on from outside people so those people don't have power in our life. But when you are getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, this is something that's inside of you. You can't just say, I'm going to get rid of the negative people in my life, because the negativity is actually growing and festering inside you. So, sir, I know we're coming up on a quick break, but what was that like when the doctor told you that, and how did that change your life, sir?
Well, I couldn't believe it. I just looked in front of the mirror and I said, I don't see it, but you're rotting inside, my friend. You're rotting, and we need to get onto treatment right away. And it was, just imagine that time and moment. It was, obviously, there was this fear, but there was one thing I knew I could do, and was totally go within and turn into God. And that's exactly what I did.
Man, something.
And God can make the impossible possible. Definitely. So how long were you in treatment, Behr? How long did it take? We're talking about 12%.
Yes. The treatment was about 6 months, 8 chemos. And it was had to be in the hospital, 5 days at a time, and some of the chemotherapy was 24 hours a day. It was, some of it, what was actually the highest and the most advanced they had at the time, which was the strongest. But I had no other options. So, I just went for it. You had to set the fear of death aside. That was the first, step. Once you can set that aside and you can accept that you will die, then the journey becomes incredible. And this is what was amazing to what happened to me then. The journey was one of the best. I'll tell you what, that year, because of the journey and what happened along the way, was one of the best years of my life. Not the best, but one of the best for what I learned, what I saw, and what I felt, and what I learned.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing.
Well, I will tell you this. Because I know we only got 2 minutes before the break. Sky's looking at me like, come on, you got 2 minutes. Okay, but I will say this. Listening to this, because you don't really know how you're going to respond until the tragedy happens to you, okay? And you don't really know what you're made of until something this deep happens to you. It's one thing to sit here and say, well, I would do this and I would do this, like armchair quarterbacking certain particular issues. But when real stuff happens to you and you have to overcome first your fear, because we're all mortal and we're all going to pass away at one time. But when a death sentence, well, some say a death sentence is handed to you, like it did with Behr, he simply said, you know something? I'm scared at first.
And the fear of death.
But I know what this is. But I'm not finna allow this to destroy the life that I have left. So instead of focusing on his own self and pulling up a pity party chair, this gentleman said, you know something, I'm finna go get it. And I'm going to empower people, and I'm going to let people know that regardless of what is facing you, regardless of what you see, the power of God is supreme, and it can affect me and it can affect you, and we can both defeat this thing. Am I right, sir? Because I know we got 30 seconds to break. Am I correct? Am I on point, Bill?
Absolutely, but I'll tell you after the break how I overcame this. Wow. Because this was the greatest lesson and one of the greatest things that happened to me, and it was worth my life. Whether I lived or died, what happened to me during the process was worth like whatever I found at that end of the rainbow during that journey to see if I was going to live or die. I'll tell you right after the break.
Wow. There you go.
All right.
He done teased it.
Nyghtstorm Nation.
He done teased it.
I know that you can't wait to hear how Behr got through this, especially we're talking 24-hour chemotherapy. no breaks, in an aggressive move to get rid of this stage 4 cancer. Stay tuned. We will be back. WAEC, Love 860 AM, Nightstorm Radio.
Toby George Nightstorm, aka Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nightstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nightstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nightstorm Radio. And join the Nyghtstorm Nation mailing list on Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nightstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
Hey, you, guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the night storms? Good! If you want the 411 on me, YG Nightstorm,
and me, Toby George Nightstorm, aka Lady Nightstorm, visit Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Nightstorm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on Nightstorm Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 AM, Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you. This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
Hello, Nightstorm Nation. This is Toby George Nightstorm, aka Lady Nightstorm, and I have a question for you. How much are you spending each day on lunch? $6, $7, $10 even? Do you know that for less than what you spend each week on lunch, you can advertise your business or service right here doing the show on Nightstorm Radio? Why don't you inbox us on Facebook, send us a message on Twitter, or drop us a line at Nyghtstorm.com. Let us show you how you can get your business or service out in front of the people. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nightstorm Radio. Our topic today is when tragedy strikes relentlessly in our lives and how to stand up and fight back regardless of what's facing us. And we're talking to the incredible Behr Champana. And if you would like to call in and be a part of this conversation, you can always call in at 404-355-8699 here in the ATL and 1-866-923-2860 anywhere else. But like most folks do, y'all are sending us some pop-up letters via Twitter and through the Nightstorms at Nyghtstorm.com. And Behr, we have a pop-up letter here, sir, and we have something specifically for you. So I need to read this letter and we can tackle it, okay? You ready?
Okay.
Okay. It says, Dear Nightstorms, I'm listening to the show and I am inspired by Behr and his story. I have cancer and the doctors have given me only 8 months to live. I'm scared because I don't know what's next. But after listening to you guys, I am encouraged. I've known all of my life that death will claim me one day, but real until this has happened to me. I am curious to know how Mr. Champana overcame his fear and how can I find the strength to empower others. Can you please talk to our Nightstorm Nation members, sir, and address that and go on with your story of how you conquered this, sir?
Listen, I talk to a lot of cancer patients right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have 4 videos that were made by Emory and where I got treated. And they're used to, educate people in terms of the cancer and their attitudes with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that the most important thing here is that, a lot of people have died from cancer through many centuries now, okay? The important thing is to realize that, you have to set the fear of dying aside so you can really understand what your true purpose in this life is. And this is what I had to do. Basically, I started, I had great doctors, I have to tell you. I had very, very good doctors, and they treated, the cancer was extremely aggressive and growing even faster. By the time I got my second opinion, I could feel everything moving and growing inside of me. And you know what? There was only one thing I could do was pray. But then what happened one night is that, I woke up in a night sweat and I'm totally drenched. And when I went back, I started shivering, and I just asked God, I will not ask you, and you should never ask, sir, why me? What you need to ask is, what am I supposed to learn from this lesson? And this is what I did. And you're not going to believe this. I've never told this in public, but, you inspired me with this letter. And basically, there was silence in the room, and there was a voice that told me, but you have known for over 30 years. And I said, over 30 years? What do you mean? And then came the answer. You have to work, and your mission is to work with orphans. And from then on, I knew that regardless whether I lived or die, 30 years back, I remember I was in a retreat, and I had that revelation. And I lived my life, however I did, and traveled the world. And guess what? I didn't focus to really what our mission as human beings is to grow our soul by helping others. What I recommend you do is that you basically go deep into prayer. I started to meditate. I trained myself how to meditate in the 4 months before the 6 were over. And I reached very high levels of consciousness, and I felt a tremendous amount of power and energy inside of me. And I'll tell you what, I discovered that God lives inside of me, and He's the only one that can help you heal. Okay? If you really, really want to heal, you really need to understand what the power of prayer, when you meditate, and when you have faith. Trust me, if you can go in that route, which is the one I did, you will heal. Because God lives inside of you, and He will heal you. Wow.
That's incredible. And it's not nothing that too far off of what we tell Nightstorm Nation, but because trauma and tragedy is a part of life. It really is, and you're not going to walk this earth. You're not going to live this life without experiencing some sort of adversity. But it's the way how you're able to deal with it. And one thing that I love about God is that throughout all of the issues that we've had, even when our son died in 2008, God is there. And we, as the human beings, we push Him away so often, but He's still patient. And He's there, and all we have to do is let Him in. And the fact that Behr just said God was within him, and it empowered him to get through an impossible situation by human standards. But to God, this is just a walk in the park. And it's because of that powerful faith in God that Behr was able to do it. And this gentleman who only has 8 months to live, that's what the doctors were saying.
Yeah, but my doctors told me I had 12%, And, that was 7 years ago. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was supposed to go into the bone marrow transplant unit, and my healing was so miraculously surprising to them even that basically I never had the bone marrow transplant.
Wow.
That was
look
not
at that.
on my stage 4. So you know what? He can do it. I mean, we all have the power to do it. The problem is that you really need to believe.
Wow.
You really need to believe. And the only way you can actually get closer to God is through prayer or meditation. I taught myself how to meditate like a Buddhist, even though I'm a Catholic. and I just did whatever I could. I fed myself, and I concentrated. And a lot of people are going to be around this man, telling him that he's going to die, that he needs to do this, that it's going to be painful. It's a bunch of crap. It's not true. He needs to gain his inner peace to be able to face and walk his own line, whether he's going to live or die. It is his journey. Don't listen to anybody else. It is your journey to be able to heal.
Doggone. What, man, did you just hear what Behr Champana said? This is your journey, dog, and you walk it with passion. Go on, my queen. Oh, my
Now,
goodness.
one more thing I wanted to ask Behr, Could you please tell us about the Quantum-AIP Foundation? We want to know about its purpose and how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just told you I had about 5 revelations and visions during my healing process because, I really went into very deep meditation. But the first one I just told you, which was about the orphanages. So a month after I was started treatment, a friend of mine brought 2 nuns from Mexico, of all places, that were compelled, had heard my story, and were compelled to come meet me. And I never understood why. Well, the nuns were from an orphanage in Mexico, in Culiacan, which is close to the border and with the States. And she brought a whole bag full of gifts. And for a month, the orphans had been praying for me. For a month. So the orphans took all these little paper, they drew on them, and, the popsicles, they took the little sticks, they did picture frames, and it was it was overwhelming to understand that, other people were praying for your healing, for you did not even know. Turns out that, after the revelation and then the visit from the nuns, I said, you know what, this is my mission in life. I got to do something. So years after I started my own company in 2009, I came up with the idea of being able to actually donate part of the income and the fees that we gained or were awarded in, let's say, in a country. So, for example, I will donate between 5 and 10%. That's the idea. We're still capitalizing on that. But we've worked with Haiti already and with Mexico. And if I work in a country, then I'll be very happy to tell the client that we'll make a donation to charity on the behalf. I'm pushing for the orphans, but, so he may have a different charity, and that's fine, too. Like in Haiti, we helped a little bit with the earthquake, and then in Mexico with the orphanage. So it's the Quantum-AIP Foundation basically is the purpose of being able to give back when we receive, or even if not. Okay, so the whole idea is to be able to donate part of our fees to the country where we work in.
Wow. Okay, and how can folks get in contact with you, sir? Because you have been dropping some incredible wisdom nuggets on Nightstorm Nation. And, like I said, a lot of people, instead of calling in their email and the letters are popping up, they want to talk to you. How can they get in contact with you, sir, so they can touch bases with you?
Well, you got my, they can contact you so they can give me you can give them my contact data. I can tell you now what it is. If you want, but it's Behr Champana 2 at yahoo.com.
There you go. Behr Champana.
You can contact me at Behr Champana 2 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And, I'll be very happy to, I got, people, I've been blessed, to be honest with you. I've been blessed, and my mission is very clear. But I got people calling from Australia. I got people calling me from Colombia, because of the videos that, are online. They were able to, from memory, they were able to actually look at them because they're trying to figure out if they need to come to the States for treatment or not. But, you cannot be afraid. So many people have gone through this. Many, many, many like me have healed. And even if, and I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, even if I wouldn't have, what I learned, what I experienced through meditation, to the love that, realizing that God lives inside of me. The love and the peace that I felt was incredible. And, it was good enough for me to realize that even if I died, I was going to die peacefully and happy. Which is a tough thing for a human to realize, right. Okay?
Right, and something, and that is precisely the message here. And sweetheart, the world is full of so many things that's going on, and so many people are hurting. But Behr touched on something that it's a word out there that can heal an ocean of adversity. And that word, sweetheart, is what? Love. And we have hit the love shout-out section of our show. And Scott, turn that music up just a little bit more, please. Thank you. And this is where the Nightstorm Nation members get to send their love shout-outs to each other and tell people just how special they are. What we got going on, baby?
We have Margot, and Margot sends her love to Chris as they celebrate their 9th wedding anniversary.
Also, Joe sends his love to his wife, Abigail. She is standing by his side as they deal with the recent discovery of him having a brain tumor. Our prayers and thoughts. Go ahead, baby.
Oh, my goodness. And Behr, we want to thank you so much for being here. Do you have anyone that you would like to send a love shout out to? Sir?
Yeah, who you shouting out some love to, Behr?
Actually, to everyone. To everyone. We are all one in spirit.
There we go.
Remember that. We're all one in spirit, and nobody's better than anybody.
There we
We're all
go.
at the same level, and we're all equal. Love you all, okay? Thank you for the opportunity.
There we go. There we go, baby.
I want to send a love shout out to you, my king.
Yes, sweetheart.
YG Nightstorm. I love you. I appreciate everything you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. You're just amazing.
Well, baby, I could not be a king without having an empowering queen that not only is beautiful, has an awesome aesthetic outwardly, but even more incredible inwardly. Thank you for cherishing me and sharing this life journey with me. I love you, baby.
I love you too. And we want to thank our Nyghtstorm Nation members who wrote into the show today. Our married couple, I said to the husband, you need to talk to an attorney. But also, if you decide that you want to forgive and move forward, God is always here. Counselors and therapists are always there.
Yeah.
You have options. Weigh them all out. I know that's not what you want to hear right now with what's going on, but you do have other options.
God can fix it.
Behr, I want to thank you for being on our show and teaching us about, looking inward and knowing that God is within us. And I want to spell his name for Nyghtstorm Nation. It's B-E-H as in Harry, R as in Rainbow for Behr Champana, C-H-A-M-P-A-N-A, for those that are trying to reach him on his email address. And we want to thank you for your inspiration. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Nyghtstorm Radio and join us on Nyghtstorm.com for all the 411 on our work in the community.
Yeah, and we always end the show with the We Are Nyghtstorm Nation pledge. And it goes, stepping out of darkness and into the light, we are here together in the combined power of individuals who dare to be above the status quo to initiate change.
Regardless of our inadequacies or the mistakes that lie in our past, we make the difference of success over failure within our families, our business, and our communities.
We come together as one body, one soul, and one mind, spreading the fruitfulness of truth and empathy to those that need it most.
May we all be blessed in our journey as we scatter across the globe, bringing the healing power of love until we see each other again.
I love me, I love you, and we will change the world.
We are Nyghtstorm Nation.
And we are you. God bless you. Have a great week. Thank you, Behr. Appreciate it, brother.
Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.